feeling lost isn't a personality flaw. It's your brain reacting to something important that's missing. You're not aimless because you're lazy. You're not unmotivated because you don't care. You feel stuck because your mind has lost one key psychological signal. And when that signal disappears, even the smartest, most capable people start feeling adrift without realizing why. Have you ever woken up on a Sunday, stared at the ceiling, and wondered what you're even doing with your life? Maybe you've applied to jobs you don't actually care about, scrolled through inspirational quotes that don't inspire you, and told yourself, I'll figure it out tomorrow for the 100th time. In this video, I'll show you what's actually happening inside your uncertain mind, and once you see it, that confusing, heavy feeling will finally start to make sense. But what I'm about to tell you next will shock you even more. The uncomfortable truth is that your brain wasn't designed to help you find your life's purpose. It was designed to keep you alive. Our ancestors didn't sit around pondering their career trajectory or 5-year plans. They worried about not getting eaten by predators and finding their next meal. This survival mechanism is still running the show in your head today. The human brain is more comfortable with certainty in the short run than with ambiguity in the long run. So when you attempt to work out what you desire from life, your mind doesn't have a built-in GPS for it. Instead, it reverts to what is safe and familiar, even if that means staying in one place, which leaves you feeling empty. Psychologists refer to this as the path of least resistance, and that's why you may end up in a job you don't really love. Maybe you studied computer science because it pays well, not because you're passionate about it, keeping friends who don't energize you, or simply doing the same things every day, without asking yourself whether they're ultimately taking you somewhere worthwhile. Here's where it gets worse. What happens next actually paralyzes your decision-making in ways you've never imagined. You'd think that with endless choices in life, it would be easier to find some sense of direction, but psychology shows us otherwise. The psychologist Barry Schwartz explored this in his work on the paradox of choice. When you have too many options, you don't choose, you freeze. Making no choice feels safer than making the wrong choice. This is compounded by what you see around you, where people are succeeding in every possible direction. Your brain sees all these paths and can't compute which one is right, so it just shuts down, leaving you feeling paralyzed and lost. At first, you think you're just confused and uncertain. Then you realize something deeper is happening. The version of yourself you've known for years doesn't fit anymore. You don't feel directionless because you don't know what to do. You feel stuck because you no longer know who you are. And just when you think it can't get worse, the third pattern emerges, and this one completely clouds your clarity.
Many people who feel lost are actually incredibly busy. You're working, studying, going to the gym, meeting friends, scrolling through content. But busyness is not the same as direction. Direction requires intention. It means you know why you're doing what you're doing and where it's taking you. But most of us never stop to ask those questions because stopping feels uncomfortable. So we stay in motion, thinking that as long as we're doing something, we must be going somewhere. Psychologists call this pseudo-productivity. You're active, but aimless. You're checking boxes, but not building toward anything. And deep down, your brain knows the difference. That's why you can be exhausted at the end of the day, but still feel like you've accomplished nothing meaningful. You scroll through opportunities, new jobs, new cities, new hobbies, and nothing excites you. You might even feel ungrateful for wanting more when your current situation is objectively okay. But this restlessness isn't greed, it's information. It's your inner self telling you that where you are can no longer hold who you're becoming. Your mind is reaching towards something new before your circumstances catch up. If you're experiencing this feeling of being stuck, you're not broken. You're early. Early in becoming someone completely different who's no longer lost. But here's what nobody warns you about. The fourth pattern reveals why you can't escape comparison. From childhood, most of us are taught to seek direction from outside ourselves. Your parents told you what to study, teachers told you what success looks like, and society tells you what milestones you should hit at what age. Get good grades, go to university, land a job, get married, buy a house. But here's the problem. None of that came from you. You've spent so much time following other people's blueprints that you never developed your own internal compass. And now, when you try to figure out what you actually want, you come up blank because you've been outsourcing that decision your entire life. Psychologists refer to this as having an external locus of control. You're constantly looking outward for validation and direction instead of inward. And when external markers don't line up, or when you achieve them and still feel empty, you're left feeling lost because you never learned how to define direction for yourself. When you see someone your age winning, a better job on LinkedIn, a better lifestyle on Instagram, greater confidence in person, suddenly your own life feels wrong, even if it isn't. Psychologically, constant comparison rewires your self-worth. And when you feel behind, direction disappears because you stop moving toward your own life and start reacting to theirs. And then the fifth pattern emerges, revealing the most persistent trap of all.
When comparison becomes constant, it stops being occasional self-doubt and becomes your default lens for viewing life. You're no longer asking, what do I want? You're asking, am I doing as well as them? This creates a vicious cycle. You feel behind, so you copy what others are doing, which takes you further from your authentic path, which makes you feel more lost, which makes you look outward again for answers. The cycle continues until you break it intentionally. So how do you actually break free from this?
How do you find direction? Finding direction isn't about having all the answers or making one perfect choice that solves everything. It's a process, and like the brain's other habits, it takes time to rewire. Most people assume that direction will hit them like a sudden revelation. One day, they'll wake up and just know what they're meant to do. But that's not how it works for most people. Direction is built, not discovered. You find it by trying things, paying attention to what resonates, and slowly eliminating what doesn't. So instead of waiting for clarity to arrive, start experimenting. Try something for a month. See how it feels. If it doesn't fit, move on. You're not looking for perfection. You're gathering data about yourself. Instead of trying to figure out your entire life's purpose, start smaller. What are the things you absolutely need in your life to feel okay? Maybe it's creative work. Maybe it's flexibility. Maybe it's helping people. Or maybe it's just having your weekends free. When you know your non-negotiables, decision-making becomes easier. You're not comparing 100 different paths anymore. You're filtering based on what actually matters to you. This takes the pressure off finding the one perfect path and helps you focus on building a life that fits your core needs.
Pay attention to the moments when you lose track of time, the tasks you do even when no one is watching, the conversations that energize you instead of drain you. These are clues. Your brain is constantly giving you signals about what aligns with you and what doesn't, but most people ignore them because they're too busy trying to follow someone else's formula. Start keeping a simple journal. Write down what felt meaningful each day. Over time, patterns will emerge, and those patterns will point you in the right direction. The greatest myth about finding direction is that once you find it, you're done. But direction is not a destination. It's a compass bearing. It will change as you grow, as your circumstances shift, as you learn more about yourself. Being lost doesn't mean you're failing. It sometimes just means that your old way of doing things no longer fits your new self, and that's okay. The goal isn't to find a single perfect path. It's to get comfortable with re-evaluating along the way. And there you have it, a deep dive into why your brain struggles with direction and how you can begin to find your way without waiting for some magical moment of clarity to occur. Your brain has spent years on autopilot. Start small, stay curious, and stop holding yourself back because you think you should already have it all figured out. If this helped you and you'd like to see more of these psychological breakdowns, subscribe to the channel. The human mind is endlessly fascinating, and we're always exploring it deeper. Until next time, stop wandering and start walking, even if you're not entirely sure where the path leads yet.